Hello and welcome, friends, to a special webinar series on new groundwater guidelines, government and industry perspective, challenges and way forward. It's a very important topic which needs to be discussed and deliberated upon because groundwater is very important for water security of the country. And one of the biggest consumption of groundwater happens in the industry. There are challenges for industry to
Right, Naga.
use that groundwater. There are challenges on the government side for
Exactly.
and there is a need to use new age technology more and more for efficient usage of groundwater. Keeping in mind the importance of this topic, we, APEC News Network, is organizing a series of three-part series of webinar on new groundwater guidelines, government and industry perspectives, challenges and way forward. And this webinar series is supported by National Water Mission, and technology partner for this webinar series is Prism Technologies. We have galaxy of speakers with us from government, from industry, from water tech domain. Just before I introduce all of you for this webinar, let me give you a perspective of why this webinar is important. Central Groundwater Authority has recently issued a guideline which talks about that all industries using more than 100 KLD shall conduct annual water audit. All the groundwater extraction structures have a digital flow meter with telemetry, failing which there is a provision of penalty. Also, industries have to adopt suitable methods to reduce water extraction by 20% in 3 years. In that case also, rainwater harvesting becomes very, very important for the same. And for that, we have special guests from all over the country joining us today. Let me introduce to all of you Sri G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Minister of Jal Shakti, Government of India, who will be delivering the keynote address in the beginning of this webinar. We welcome Sri G. Ashok Kumar. We have with us Sri Alok Tiwari, District Magistrate, Kanpur. Thanks for joining us, Alok Tiwari ji. I'll request Alok Tiwari ji if you can unmute yourself. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alok ji, for joining us. We have with us Jay Hemrajani, Chairman, India Industry Association, Kanpur chapter. His perspective will be very important because what industry is thinking, what are the challenges for industry for the efficient use of groundwater, that will be shared by Mr. Jay Hemrajani. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Jay. We will be also joined by Mr. V.K. Upadhyay, Director, Groundwater Department, Government of UP. He will be joining us shortly, and his perspective will be very important because Uttar Pradesh is one of the few states which has its own groundwater act as well. And we are also joined by a young mind, young innovator, Mr. Vinay Chattaraju, co-founder, Prism Technologies. They are working closely with various industries in various states where they're leveraging their innovation, IoT-based innovation for water monitoring. Welcome, Vinay. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Shoaib.
And we'll be also joined by Mr. Rajata Mehra. He's the Vice President, India Industry Association, and he'll be joining us shortly because he'll also give his perspective. So without taking too much of time, as I've already set the context that this webinar, the series of webinar, the first edition of this series of webinar on new groundwater guidelines, government and industry perspective, challenges and way forward. Let me start the webinar with Sri G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Government of India, Minister of Jal Shakti. Ashok ji, CGWA, Central Groundwater Authority, have recently come up with this new guideline for the groundwater management, especially for industries, infrastructure and mining projects. How important is that, according to you, for ensuring efficient usage of groundwater management, especially when it comes to using that water for the industry sector? Your thoughts on that, Sri G. Ashok Kumar.
Thank you, Shoaib. Good morning, everybody. Very happy New Year to all of you. I thank APEC for organizing this webinar on a very important topic. I also would like to, before getting on a topic, tell about my association with Kanpur. Before Mr. Tiwari, we were coming regularly to Kanpur I think जय हेमराज जी ने आप अपना म्यूट कर लीजिएगा because disturbance हो रहा है. ठीक है.
Pleasure, sir.
Fine, fine.
Pleasure, sir. I'm Alok here, Kadiyam Kanpur Nagar, and it will be pleasure if you keep coming, sir.
No, we had very close association with you. I was actually I came about a year back for the National Ganga Council meet. I was the ED projects there. So I was the one who was actually really coordinating and organizing that meet when Pradhan Mantri and 10 district union ministers and 4 CMs came, and we actually went down and closed down the Shishmao canal, because it was pumping a lot of dirt water in that. So we developed that selfie point, and I also had gone there with Mukhyamantri ji, take a selfie there. So that's the lot of association with Kanpur. In fact, I also started that work on Pankha STP on the 30 MLD STP. मैंने November 11 को कुछ आया था. Last year 2019 की बात है. That
Yes,
was
sir.
one. And then also we had Shuklaganj, and then I was pushing and we involved in the transferring of all these projects to the I think the concessionaire for all the one city one operator case. We had given those projects. That was very nicely Shapu Palaji. They had taken it over all these things. So I was very closely associated with Kanpur, even in the Bangta projects and in the Jajmau and Bigav and all these things. So my association with there in Kanpur, not only with these STP works, we also had a lot of workshops conducted on the textile, on the use of water in the tannery sector. So we had a workshop in Delhi where sea experts had come and discussed on how to reduce the usage of water in tannery. So anyway, that is the small introduction of my association.
Sir, you know a huge amount of things about Kanpur, much more than I know actually.
I know. I was there. I used to come very regularly. It's been both. I used to come about 10-11 times in the last year, and we had workshops in IIT Kanpur, Ganga, and I was ED projects in Namamingige. That's the association with Kanpur long back.
I'll be able to learn a lot from you, sir. It will be good, sir. Please keep coming.
We had gone down to all your that lining of the British laid-down canals, all those canals, and I know a list of all the 24 channels which bring water to the 2 rivers. That's a river and what is the second river?
Pandu River.
Pandu River. Yes, Pandu River. Okay, fine. Anyway, so good that you are taking interest. I am very happy that when young DMs take interest, things get lined up, because as everybody says, PM, CM, and DM are the only people. We are only tools. They are the person who implement the things. When DMs take interest, things go well. Thank you, Alok, for taking interest, and I'll have to discuss you something else on the Catch the Rain projects which we are doing.
Please, sir.
Okay, so this is very important that finally government woken up to tackle this issue related to groundwater, because groundwater is a very important thing, and we had been extracting groundwater much more than what we had been replenishing it. So India, if you look at it, the extraction of groundwater in India is much more than the extraction done by USA and China put together. That's the level of the groundwater extraction which we have gone. The green revolution actually took off, not with the big dams which we keep on talking about. It is actually because of the groundwater extraction which has resulted in a decentralized extraction of water. There are almost 25 million tube wells pumping up a lot of water from the ground, and the energy spent on pumping water is also very high. So groundwater extraction has been and had been a great topic, but somehow not got the attention so far. And finally, the government has realized that it's very important. They had come out with these guidelines on 6th of October. Notification, public notice was issued by the Groundwater Board, probably nudged and pushed by the NGT. NGT has also been looking at it, how to use the water. Now, there are 2 issues. Primarily, if we look at water, the quality and quantity aspect of it. Kanpur is not more, is more about quality than quantity, because there's a river flowing by Ganga with a lot of water flowing by in Kanpur. But the issue was in Kanpur about the quality of water. A very large discharge from the tanneries.
Exactly.
And tannery actually uses a lot of water for washing, and the processing itself probably will have to change this thing. That's another aspect which will come into it, because in as per the National Water Mission's guidelines, we are supposed to audit the water usage, and because India's water usage efficiency is very poor. Look at the countries like America and China and other countries. The water use efficiency is very high. Even if you look at it, maybe Israel and all, it's about 90-95% usage efficiency, whereas we are stuck at about 30-35%. In agriculture sector, we have to improve the water use efficiency. In the industrial sector also, we have to do the water use efficiency. For that, our water mission had been doing water audit, particularly in water sector, in the irrigation sector and in the industry sector. And we also have been discussing with many industries like paper pulp, then tanneries, textiles, energy sector, which are the largest consumers of water, to reduce usage of water in the industry by business re-engineering or technology re-engineering, and then better use of water by recycling, reducing to business process re-engineering and recycling, and recovering the water and then using it after processing. So there's a lot of things can be done. So it's very important that the new guidelines which the groundwater board has issued has come into space, and industries have certain apprehensions. We have to address that, primarily because it was industries had a free run on this water. They used to get extract water without any all they need was to get an NOC from the groundwater board, and it went on rather unchecked. But agriculture was using a large extraction of water. Yes, I agree to that point, and we are also trying to convince the state governments to remove all these free subsidies and all these things given in the name of agriculture, because free power subsidy is actually hampering the water. A lot of water is being pumped out because of a free subsidy. This is what's happening in Punjab and other places. That is a separate discussion. So this the guidelines which they have issued after a nudge from the NGT is very welcome from a water point of view, because we have to now conserve the water which is being conserve the water. So we have to be very frugal and very systematic in extraction of water and how we put it back. Now I look at the industry sector in India is not the biggest guzzler of water, I agree, because agriculture takes about 80-89% of the water usage in the country, and drinking water and the industry put together takes only 11%. So if you can make a saving of at least 10% in agriculture, that can really compensate for the water usage, or can double the quantity of water which is being used in industry and domestic. So primary focus in National Water Mission is on the agriculture water usage. However, having said that, the industry water usage is also very important. So we have to be looking forward and then taking action to prevent deterioration of groundwater and the quantity of groundwater. So there are industries, as I said, used to have a good run till some trouble started in probably states like Kerala and all, where the Coca-Cola company faced some problem in Pachimir. There were a lot of issues regarding the water quality getting affected because of the over extraction of area from some industrial units. That was the beginning of the problem for the industries. And then the government had woken up and came out with guidelines, particularly of reusing and the wastewater from the sewage and from other industries, for the non-potable water to be used, for the treated water being used for the non-potable purposes. So that is where for cleaning, for dilution, etc., industries require a lot of water. That is what now being recommended to be used. That is what where the treated water is being recommended to use. Gujarat had come out with an extensive policy, good policy, where the treated water is the first to be used for the industrial purposes. And that has been very successfully implemented, very strictly implemented in Gujarat, and it is actually giving a lot of revenue for the municipalities, because municipal treated water was used for the industries, and it is working well. So there is definitely a scope for having some guidelines in the groundwater extraction, and as per the guidelines, if you see the less than 10 kiloliter daily water usage is exempted from getting from NOC from groundwater. And they also said that if there's a violation of the rainwater harvesting structures are being put in place, they get some 50% concession. Like that, some issues, some things, very, very proactive points are given in these guidelines. If it's implemented properly, very, it is very useful. So if you look at the 3 Rs, which we keep on talking in the water sector, the reduce, reuse, and recycle, industries have actually to come forward to address these 3 issues. They have to reduce the water usage by business engineering, reprocessing. There's a tremendous scope for reducing the water usage. There is a scope for reuse of the water, multi-use of water in there, and then recycling after processing. And now there is industry tends to gain if they use this water, recover the water, and the resource recovery is also a very important aspect, because many of the resources which the catalysts and all which the industry use for various processes can be recovered, and that can actually help them to reduce the cost of operation of the industry also. The industry should have a broad mind to look at this aspect of recovering the water, recovering the resources, and use that water for the business purposes. We had come out with the zero liquid discharge guidelines. Difficult to implement, but let us see how long it goes. But at least zero discharge is what we are looking at it. Now, coming back to the groundwater aspect, I'll take only 2 more minutes, because that is where my request for all the industrialists and the DM is actually looking at it, is the campaign which we have started. We, National Water Mission, had started a campaign called Catch the Rain Where It Falls, When It Falls. Basically because we had been extracting a lot of groundwater in the name of industry, in the name of agriculture predominantly. 89% of usage of water is in the agriculture sector. So this water extracted from the ground was not being replenished. We only save 8 to 10% of the water. And if you look at it, in the rainy season, we have a lot of rain coming, and this water flows to the fields, to the rivers, creating havoc, and then goes to the sea. And after 4 or 5 months later, when the summer starts, we really look forward for water, and we have more extraction of groundwater going deeper and deeper every year, which is resulting in the presence of arsenic also in water. So this is a cycle which we have to break. 3 months or 4 months of rainfall, which creates havoc by the way of floods, and after 4 or 5 months later, when the summer comes, there's a tanker which provides water, because we are not taken care to save this water. This is where the Catch the Rain campaign comes in. We are looking for a tanker mukt Bharat summers. You want the drinking water to be extracted from the ground, from the natural sources, and not from tankers, because tanker supply has become a big mafia by itself, and it is actually it's not a good omen for the India as such. We should try to replenish the groundwater which we take by letting the water go down when the rain comes. So that's where the slogan "Catch the Rain Where It Falls, When It comes in. We are only requesting the stakeholders, DMs, and industries, everybody, to ensure that the rainwater which flows in, which comes in the 4 months of the rainy period, we catch them, store it in a decentralized manner, so that the water table increases, the soil moisture increases, and the aquifers get recharged. If that is done properly, there's a good circular economy where the water is extracted by industries and agriculture, but it comes back by storage when rain comes. So this is a sustainable model rather than thing where we keep on only extracting water and it will go down. So my suggestion is that we should have compulsory metering of groundwater. It is there in the guidelines also. We should have compulsory metering of groundwater. Very good. At least know the statistics of how much water is being pulled out, which we don't have statistics of now. How much water is being pulled out from various parts by industries and agriculture sector. So the compulsory metering of groundwater has to be done. Pricing of groundwater can be done, and actually, if you look at it, instead of groundwater, the priority should be given to industries should be to use the treated water. Treated water from the sewage STPs, which they are in large numbers, and also from the their own effluent treatment plant should be treated first and used, and then only the water should from the extract from the ground. That will help in conserving the groundwater. There are definitely a lot of models which are successfully functioning, so we should continue with that. Also, there should be a mandatory recharge of the water, of the groundwater. If these things are taken care, probably we'll have a very sustainable model of development where the water also will be having respect, value in the mind of people, and then people will tend to respect the water. That's what we are looking at it. Thanks for the organization for organizing this program. I'm sure that industries, because it's mostly many of them would have an apprehension. But if you actually look at it, I have talked to a lot of industrialists who have implemented rainwater harvesting structures, who have done a lot of water saving processes in that. They have said that in the long run, they had tremendous financial gains. So industrial organizations should appreciate that it is for their good that this type of recycling and reuse of water comes in, and if they prevent the extraction of water, goodwill also will increase, and probably they will have a better relation with the people around the industries. Thank you once again. I hope that this workshop webinar will result in some tangible outcomes and suggestions. We'll be willing to hear from all industrial units and their suggestions, which will help us in maybe tinkering the policy or modifying suitably whatever the apprehensions they have. But our interest is that the groundwater should be protected, because we are actually going down the drain very fast than any other country. So it is highly essential that groundwater in India is protected and it is preserved for the future generation. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Minister of Jal Shakti, Government of India, for delivering the keynote address and setting the context of this special webinar series on new groundwater guidelines, the government and industry perspective, the challenges and way forward. And Shri G. Ashok Kumar has rightly pointed out various aspects of importance of using groundwater effectively, optimizingly, and how both industry and government can collaborate together. Groundwater should be protected. That is the crux, if I take the crux of what G. Ashok Kumar has said. And also resource recovery, talked about resource recovery, and also pricing of groundwater management, that has to be dealt with. But end of the day, what is most important is that the groundwater should be protected. For that, industry has to take a call, government, regulators have to take a call, and the newest technologies, how those newest technologies can be leveraged more, that also needs to be think about. We can see many questions are already coming. I'll come to G. Ashok Kumar later on that part. We are getting some questions also. We'll come to that part for Q&A section. But before I move to other speakers, let me introduce to all of you. We have a special guest from the state of UP. We have with us Mr. V.K. Upadhyay, Director, Groundwater Department, Government of UP, for joining us. Thanks, Dr. Upadhyay, Mr. Upadhyay, for joining us. If you can kindly unmute yourself. Yeah. Mr. Upadhyay, if you can unmute your mic. Yeah. Yeah.
So thanks, and thanks for inviting me for this webinar, of course, and good morning to all of you.
Thank you.
As you all know,
yes,
the state government has acted its act for this groundwater regulation, of course. and we are issuing our NOCs and getting registration of our wells and all that. Some suggestions has come from the CII and MSL.
Mr. Upadhyay, just to interrupt you, I'll come to you. I'll come to you in detail. Before that, let me just come to other speakers, and I'll come to you.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
So before we move to Sri Alok Tiwari, District Magistrate Kanpur, I'll request Mr. Tiwari to stay with us for another 5 minutes, because let's have a perspective from Mr. Vinay Chattaraju, co-founder of Prism Technology, a short perspective of 5 minutes on how they're leveraging technology for the same, and then we'll move to Sri Alok Tiwari, District Magistrate Kanpur. Over to you, Vinay. 5 minutes for you.
Sir, I would like to interrupt. Sir, I have a meeting with Additional Advocate General, Allahabad High Court, I'm in Allahabad, at 10:50. So, at any rate, I'll have to leave at 10:40, because from Circuit High, I'll have to move to High Court. That takes at least 10 minutes.
So quickly 2 minutes from Vinay, and then we'll come to you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Shouvik. I guess so we'll have a detailed presentation. So after so Mr. Alok Tiwari leave for that. It's a very important topic we are discussing today, Shouvik. So you have very rightly brought out the very esteemed panelists. I'm very honored to be here among with them. So the primary reason which we are our experience with working with the industries and so various other stakeholders in the groundwater is, the first thing, if we have to do anything in the conservation of the groundwater, is actually the measurement. If we have a data, then only we can talk about any kind of so reduction or policies or any changes in the ecosystem. So what we have observed in our experience, so working with various surface water and the groundwater department, is water management in India is a guesswork so far. Okay, so India mein pani sab kuch andaze se chalta hai, because it is very hard to measure the water. Okay, so because it flows from the various places, so groundwater is, the mapping of the groundwater is actually very difficult. So we are working on various technologies, so from IIT Kanpur here, so we've been working for the last 5 years on building various instrumentations and various hydraulic models to help the departments, industries, the commercial complexes, or all the water users, so to efficiently manage the water in the in their premises. Because at the end of the day, when we don't have the water, so we are not talking about, so though the economy is actually slow down, if there is no life, then there is no point of so having any kind of so big buildings and so big industries. So I guess this platform gives us a very unique opportunity for all the stakeholders to come together and pen out what are the challenges in terms of governance and what are the challenges in terms of the implementation, and how can technologies which we develop from IITs and so sitting in so with advanced technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and IoT, how can we help both the regulators and the users to efficiently manage the groundwater resources and come up with various indices to track ourselves in this. So it is very fairly possible, as per the guidelines have mentioned, to reduce the water consumption of these industries. So they have very clearly mentioned that the industries have to come up with a plan to reduce the groundwater consumption by 20% in the next 3 years. Okay, so by water auditing or so any suitable technologies.
So Vinay, I think we'll talk about this in detail after Mr. Alok Tiwari, because I think he has to leave. So let's have his perspective. We can have a detailed presentation from you, and the video will play later. So over to you, Mr. Alok Tiwari, District Magistrate Kanpur. Alokji, Kanpur is known as an industrial hub with many tanneries and industrial hubs like Jajmu and Dadanagar. What are the various initiatives you are planning to take to ensure effective groundwater management in the district, since it's an industrial hub? And what are the various initiatives you have already taken for the water resource management in the district? Your take on that, Mr. Alok Tiwari.
So as we began the webinar today, we realized that the city of Kanpur is not exactly facing a quantity issue. We are facing a quality issue. And with Ganga flowing across Kanpur, there is not much of a quantity issue. Here we have a quality issue, or in Kanpur has been traditionally an industrial hub. It has been the biggest urban agglomeration of Uttar Pradesh till very recent time. A huge population pressure and a huge industrial infrastructure in the context of UP. But that has led to continuous deterioration in water quality. So the government has been alive to the situation, as we all know, and there has been concerted effort to clean it up, which has also been backed up by consistent monitoring by Supreme Court through various writ petitions as well as National Green Tribunal. As I just told you, I'm right now going to meet Additional Advocate General. This is also relating to the pollution, water pollution issue only. There's one more petition that is in Allahabad High Court, for which I have been asked to give personal attendance. This is again in relation to water pollution. What I mean to say is water pollution has been a burning issue, and both executive as well as judiciary, apart from civil society, are seized of the matter. So having said that, things have been moving. They may not be as satisfactorily as they should move. The speaker was speaking just before me, was saying that water is not appropriately priced in India. That I think is the most important problem. The externality imposed by polluting agencies or externality imposed by households discharging sewage in the common sewage pipeline, that those externalities have not been priced in properly in the water supply mechanisms that we have. But that's a long story for some another day. Coming specific to efforts being made in Kanpur right now, I have been, what I am going to say, I have been assisted by a very young IAS officer who is the Municipal Commissioner of Kanpur Nagar, Mr. Akshay Tripathi. He's a 2014 batch IAS officer. So he has been very active in trying to get hold of the situation and do whatever we can. The first step in addressing any pollution issue is to actually measure it. If you want to solve a problem like pollution, we start by measuring it. There has been continuous effort. Apart from air quality measurement, we have places where we measure water quality also. There are stations where UP Pollution Control Board regional officers and aided by Jal Nigam and Nagar Nigam, they measure water pollution status, the standards of water being supplied. So that has been going on, and yesterday as I was standing before High Court, I realized, and I was reading everything, I realized at least the regulatory minimum is being complied with. The regulatory minimum is prescribed by pollution control agencies are being complied with. The city of Kanpur actually has 472 million liters per day, sewage treatment capacity. Whereas the generation is of about 440 million liters per day. So right now we are somewhat comfortable in relation to the sewage being produced in the city of Kanpur. But for future...
But actually, is it being done? Look, it is on paper, so much of quantity is there, capacity is there, but the sewage treatment, is it being done? That was the biggest issue. Your bigger, Manipur wala did not have water supply for quite some time.
Actually, I don't know, I find it very difficult to question official records because I am part of them. So pollution control agencies, so pollution control agencies
are right. We should not be like we should get this all STPs functional. That is very important. And that Shuklaganj, I don't know whether the land issue has been sorted out. The 5 MLD issue, I don't know whether that's been sorted out.
Shuklaganj is in Unnao, sir. It is not in the district of Kanpur Nagar.
Okay. No, because we take this as part of our project Kanpur, which has been handed over to. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
So you made a very pertinent point. So it is always a continuous worry whether the data we are getting or reporting, those data actually reflect the ground realities. But as a government functionary, I believe when the UP Pollution Control Board functionaries measure all those things. So I'm inclined to believe their numbers as long as I have very strong evidence to the contrary. Because I don't have any better mechanism to measure them. So as long as I don't have a better mechanism to measure them, of course, I'm inclined to believe the numbers they have provided. And those numbers are based off my affidavit that I filed in High Court yesterday. So if those numbers are wrong, I am done. So I just hope those numbers are not wrong. Moving further, sir, more sewage treatment capacity is under construction, additional 30 million liters per day. So that shows we are comfortable with around for 50 to 60 million liters per day once this is over. Now, common effluent treatment plants have been set up. Another one is being National Mission for Clean Ganga taking up in Jajmau, which is the construction and scheduled for completion in December 2021. These are data, sir, which I need not tell you, sir, because all those things, all those realities, you are more aware than when it will be learning experience for me. But personally, as a person from Allahabad who has studied at IIT Kanpur and happened to become district magistrate of Kanpur, so Kanpur being a polluted city in terms of air pollution or water pollution requires no measurement device. It is a person with the naked eyes can actually look what the reality is, as you just said, sir. But having said that, I can tell you something, sir. On a positive, optimistic note, sir, I studied in IIT Kanpur from 1997 to 2001. Ganga used to stink badly, sir. And water pollution was like when we used to come to Kanpur Nagar railway station. The stink used to begin, it used to end at Rawatpur, sir. Bada Chauraha was unbearable. Today, around 20 years later, with continuous effort under the aegis of various pollution control agencies, your efforts, sir, water ministry, water pollution as well as air pollution has abated to a significant extent, even while the city has expanded. The industrial capacity actually has expanded. People think Kanpur is a dying industrial city, which is not true, sir. It is certain industries have gone down, others have come up, like everywhere else. The nature of industries has transformed. So in spite of expansion of industrial capacity, as well as expansion of the urban dwelling capacity, urban dwelling of the Kanpur Nagar, the district of Kanpur Nagar, pollution has actually gone down, but a lot of work needs to be done. Coming back to what you said, sir, my official residence is situated exactly on the banks of River Ganga, just accompanying Sir Sayya Ghat. In fact, they are planning a collector ghat there. So if you come there someday, sir, and we happen to sit there, so we can directly monitor the pollution level, and we'll find it actually is the way you are talking, sir. But we'll make efforts, sir. I'm aided by very competent municipal commissioner, sir, Akshay, as I told you, sir. I would have loved him to have been, if he would have joined this, he had a more hands-on experience and more hands-on data on these things. But whatever he plans, I am always there to execute. We both work as a team. And I think in next 10, 15 years, if we keep... So one issue that I wanted to flag at your level, sir. One issue that water ministry will have to work in close collaboration with environmental regulatory agencies. Lot of tanneries who have got consent to operate under certain conditions to be fulfilled, they have to contribute to the new CETPs and things like that. They have not been some of them have not been complying with. And then
you are the chairman of that authority, no?
I'm getting to it, sir. I'm as a chairman, sir. I'm very ruthless in law enforcement, sir. As a chairman, I have written to JETITA, I have written letters to all the to the UP Pollution Control Board, requesting UP Pollution Control Board to withdraw the consent to operate, against which of course they are planning to go to High Court. But what I'm trying to say, more organic collaboration is required. Tanneries, traditionally, because they provide employment and they are huge business concerns, tanneries have been the dominant voice in this Kanpur narrative. It is the way it should be. They are a huge employment creator, they are huge wealth creator, value addition karte hain, bahut bada kaam karte hain, huge exporters. This is the way they should be. It is welcome. But then environmental concerns will have to be factored in this whole narrative. And some tanneries have been laggards in this. So I have tried to show them the brute force of law. Without any ado, I have written a letter to UPSCB, PCB requesting UPPCB to withdraw the consent to operate, which has caused a huge local hue and cry. But more needs to be done. So this is, sir, if Water Resources Ministry can work in closer collaboration with Central Pollution Control Board and UP Pollution Control Board, so that a faster movement, and those tanneries which are not ready to accept the norms that they should while they were given consent to operate, they should face the music. So that environmental concern becomes integral to industrial development.
I remember their power supply was cut off. One of the time when I was there, their power supply was cut off, and that it's a huge hue and cry. What kind of road and land order issue? I was there at that day also.
So this is what it is, sir. This has been my reading for last 4.5 months. I have been in Kanpur, and somehow I am very unpopular with those tanneries, because I continue to believe we cannot have industrial development at the cost of environment, because the chicken come home to roost someday or the other. So I continue, and if they have made a commitment, they better honor it.
Exactly.
So this is what I am up to, sir, and I'll continue to seek your guidance, sir. And whenever you happen to visit Kanpur Nagar, please let us know.
One point I would like to raise, we will talk to you later on. We have sent an email also on this Catch the Rain campaign, where we wanted you to establish a Jal Shakti Kendra in every ministry, every district,
Block.
every block also, so that basically information regarding the quantity of water and quality of water can be available. The information dissemination is very important. What is the type of the water available? That is what probably we'll look at. I'll talk to you later on. Right.
Thank
Okay.
you. I'll go ahead with that. Nice
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you.
We need to
Thank,
go to additional AG for the, and it is related to water pollution Ganga only. The case is related to water pollution Ganga only.
thank you so much, Sri Alok Tiwari, District Magistrate Kanpur, for highlighting a very important part of that, how to create more and more awareness within the industrial sector to use water effectively, taking into consideration the environmental impacts. And what he said at last, that industrial development can happen, but not at the cost of environmental hazards. So that's been a very important point raised by Sri Alok Tiwari, District Minister of Kanpur. Thanks for joining us. I know he has to rush from the meeting.
I'll have to run.
But even being a busy schedule, he joined us. We'll move to Mr. V.K. Upadhyay. But before that, let's have a perspective on Krishnam as well. Can we have the video on screen, please? So this will give us a perspective on what and how Krishnam Technology is trying to make a difference in the groundwater management spectrum, especially for industry, and where government and industry can join hands together. Can we have that short video on screen, please?
Our top priority is to develop flow meters that address present challenges faced, whilst effectively and effortlessly measuring water flow in the areas of drinking water supply, automation, and others. Dhara Flow Meter is designed in such a way that the user can access real-time data via a web-based system and can also get SMS alerts about flow measurements.
My interaction with the device is minimal, and all relevant data that previously had to be manually noted and accessed through the logbook is now available on my mobile device just at my fingertips. It was a wise decision to invest in Dhara Flow Meter.
So that was a short video by Krishnam Technologies and how they are making a difference. We'll have a detailed presentation from Krishnam Technologies. Mr. Vinay will be giving on that, how they're using IoT, ML and AI-based solution for efficient usage of groundwater management. But before that, let's have a perspective from government. We have a special guest from the state of Uttar Pradesh with us, Mr. V.K. Upadhyay, Director, Groundwater Department, Government of UP. Mr. Upadhyay, my question to you will be that UP is one of the few states which has its own Groundwater Act in place. Please highlight various initiatives being taken by UP Groundwater Department for ensuring effective usage of groundwater, and your thoughts on how industry can more efficiently use this groundwater effectively. Mr. Upadhyay.
Okay. So, welcome to all. First of all, I would like to highlight some points which is included in my act. Probably most of the people know about it. It is on my website itself, and we have also developed an online portal just for the industry to go online and do all their things without any physical contact. It is also linked with my Nivesh Smith portal as well. The few things are that we have notified the area, those areas which comes in overexploited and critical, they are notified, and no further NOCs will be granted in these notified areas, of course. In semi-critical and safe, we are going to give all these NOCs and all these things with some restriction of recharging, as National Water Commission sir has already told that metering is required. Metering is included in my act. Pricing is essential. Some pricing is also imposed on the industries. And mandatory recharge is one of the part of this, that NOC as well. Of course, we are also considering the guidelines given by Central Groundwater Authority on 24th of September. Are some exemptions which are not included in my act. We are also considering. A high-level meeting has already been conducted under the supervision of my Jal Shakti Minister, Mr. Mohan Singh, Dr. Mohan Singh. But till now it is not in force, of course. It is not, currently it is not in force. In future, probably I am also hopeful that those relaxation which is in guidelines may be included. As a whole, as for this webinar is concerned for the technology of this, we are going to impose metering. We are going to impose mandatory recharge, pricing. So we need some advanced technology, of course, just to monitor all these things. So I hope these technology will help us to provide the people the exact value. So Kristen has already come to me and showed their presentation. So I hope these type of technologies which are in which are there, but we are not knowing about this. They should come to us. They show their technologies. We will try to implement, try to impose, try to apply all these things in our state, just to improve our knowledge and our data bank, of course. So, as a director, this is our initial work to start this act. One more thing which is different from the central act is that we have decentralized all these things. You will get your NOCs, registration, all this from your district council itself. You need not to come to Lucknow to process all this. Everything is online. You go to on my portal, complete your all the documents, and as soon as your committee, district committee will finalize it, you will get your NOC from there itself. Okay. And if some suggestions, some questions are there for any industries or any person who are there, so let's come to me. I will try to analyze and sort it as a director UP Groundwater. That's my commitment. So I am again very thankful to all of you, and we need some advanced technology, of course, to monitor is, for pricing, for pollution, for all these things. Achha, one more thing, we have also included, as Mr. Alok Tiwari sir was saying, pollution is a major portion of controlling this groundwater pollution in my act also. There is a huge penalty as well who is violating these rules. So we try to cover so many things. Let us see what the problem comes to industries or any users. We will try to sort out as well. Okay, Mr. Goswami. Thank you.
Bhadiji, one more. I just wanted to check up with you. Are you aware of this campaign which is going, this Catch the Rain campaign?
Which campaign, sir?
We have National Water Mission have been doing this campaign called Catch the Rain. Basically to restore the water in your water harvesting structures like ponds, etc. So it is actually supposed to be, it is your campaign. The water groundwater board has to do that campaign, because we are now taking up a National Water Mission in all the districts. We are doing it to actually develop the water harvesting structures using Manrega funds. So I'll send you also. It is, we are sent it to all district magistrates. And now Nehru Yuva Kendra is also driving in the campaign from 1st January to 31st of March, awareness building, creating more rainwater harvesting structures to be ready to catch the rain. When the rain comes, to catch it and store it for your replenishing your groundwater. Basically, it's the job of the groundwater department that we are trying to do by letting people catch the rain and store it, and so that your water table is increasing. Yeah, have a look at it, what's happening. Nehru Yuva Kendra people are doing it, the campaign.
So I would like to know the more detail of this.
I'll send somebody to send it to you.
As you said, this is not the groundwater or any water or surface water. It is not a responsibility of any one department or any one people.
That's the problem.
Yes,
This is why, as a mission, we came together, because agriculture department अपने बात करते हैं, अब एलसी डिपार्टमेंट अपनी बात करते हैं, ग्राउंड वाटर डिपार्टमेंट अपनी बात करते हैं, इसलिए सबको एक प्लेटफॉर्म लाने के लिए वी स्टार्टेड दिस कैंपेन कैच द रेन एंड
Jal Shakti Department, this is the concept that we developed Jal Shakti Department on the same
exactly actually 2019 में हमने we started a campaign called Sahi Fasal in Punjab, जहाँ पे paddy the water the crop which is suitable for the area should be done करके सही फसल करके एक कैंपेन शुरू किया था. वो एक साल के बाद अभी they are sitting here because on the same lines, because we said that you should not grow paddy because paddy is water guzzler and is not to be done in Punjab. So, anyway, that's a different matter. But
yes,
there is a misconception कि पानी तो बहुत है, यूपी and Haryana with a tremendous water. तो ये concept change करना पड़ेगा. We have to make a major mass campaign कि ये change करो. Pollution is a major problem, and if groundwater is polluted, it means you have no water to use.
Exactly. तो आप देख लीजिए this campaign is मैं आपको भी भेज दूंगा. Now actually almost banks, हर बैंक में लगा हुआ है वो पोस्टर कैच द रेन का. भिजा दूंगा, आप देख लीजिए. आपके टीम को भी बोल देना कि सब जगह पे what we are trying is that बर्तन तैयार करके रख रहा है. ये जनवरी फरवरी मार्च में हम नेचुरल बर्तन तैयार करके रख रहा है कि जब बारिश आएगी जनवरी जून मई जून जुलाई, it will be ready to fill and capture the water. ठीक है?
Right. So as both G. Ashok Kumar and Mr. V.K. Upadhyay were saying that the need of the hour is to create that mass campaign, mass awareness about the usage of water more efficiently and effectively. And as Mr. V.K. Upadhyay was saying that UP Groundwater Department has already act is there on place, and how that act is different from the central act is that it's a completely decentralized act, so that so no one has to come to the office and completely done online. That's a remarkable thing being done in the state of UP for groundwater management. And I think Vinay was smiling when Mr. V.K. was saying that the need of the hour is to embrace newer technologies, and they're all open for it. And I think this kind of knowledge sharing platform actually helps in bringing together the convergent views together, so that an action can be taken and we can move to the right direction for future, for making it happen, that effective usage of groundwater. Till now, we had the perspective from government, also from a water tech company, and all were raising concerns about industry. But what are the concerns of the industry? Let's have a perspective from that as well. And for that, we have a special guest with us. He is Mr. Jay Hemrajani, Chairman, Indian Industry Association, Kanpur chapter. And he has got thousands of members who are working in the Kanpur as a whole. All the industries are part of this association. And his take will be very important, because we heard the perspective from government, what they're thinking. We heard a water tech perspective, Krishnam, their view. We'll have a detailed presentation of Krishnam in the later half of this webinar. But the most important part of this webinar is that how we can make that awareness success, how that create that, we can deliver that message to industry as a whole, that need of the hour is for the effective usage of groundwater, and we should embrace newer technologies. Cost will be there, a lot of problems will be there, but still we have to move on to make the process seamless. Let's have a perspective from industry. We'll come to Mr. Upadhyay again, to Vinay also, but before that, let's Mr. Jay, your thoughts on that. What are the challenges you're facing as an industry when it comes to using groundwater or water as a whole in various plants?
गुड मॉर्निंग सर. मैं सर पहले तो अशोक जी का वेलकम करूंगा. सर उन्होंने कीमती समय निकाला हमारे इंडस्ट्रीज के लिए, और मैं कानपुर की ओर से सबका स्वागत करता हूं, सारे अपने मेहमानों का. सर इंडस्ट्री में पानी का बेसिक जो कंजम्पशन है, वैसे तो टोटल जो कंजम्पशन से बहुत ज्यादा कम है. हमारा जो एग्रीकल्चर में जो कंजम्पशन होता है वो सर बहुत ज्यादा होता है, और जो डोमेस्टिक और इंडस्ट्री में सिर्फ 4% वाटर कंजम्पशन होता है. लेकिन सर जो गवर्नमेंट को जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर देना चाहिए पानी का, जो उनको पाइपलाइन वगैरह देनी चाहिए, पानी देना चाहिए, गवर्नमेंट तो करती नहीं है. तो सर वो जो इंडस्ट्री वाले हैं अपनी बोरिंग से, खुद के ट्यूबवेल से, बोरवेल से पानी का निकासी करता है. सर जो हमें भी तकलीफ होता है कि हम अपने आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए क्या दे के जा रहे हैं, वैसे पानी की दिक्कत आ रही है, कंजम्पशन प्रॉब्लम है. तो सर हमारा सजेशन ये था कि अगर हम लोग को, हमारे जो डायनेमिक डीएम बैठे हुए हैं आलोक जी, एक इंडस्ट्री में एक एक एरिया को वो मॉडल बना के अगर उसको डेवलप कराएं, उसे रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग कैसे होना है, पानी का पोल्यूशन ना हो, पानी की निकासी कैसे हो, उसका रिचार्ज कैसे हो, तो सर मेरे ख्याल से उसमें बहुत बेहतर काम हो सकता है, पानी का कंजम्पशन कम हो सकता है। मेरे विचार तो सर यही सर। बाकी सर
तो जय हेमराजनी जी, ये तो आप एक पहलू के बारे में बात कर रहे हो, बट आप इंडस्ट्री को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, आपको व्हाट डू यू थिंक दैट व्हाट आर द अदर कंसर्न्स यू हैव, एंड इफ अभी तक आप डिस्कशन सुन रहे थे कि जी अशोक कुमार सर ने बोले, वीके उपाध्याय जी बोले, कानपुर डीएमडी बोले, विनय हैज आल्सो सेड समथिंग, आपको क्या लगता है कि इंडस्ट्री शुड, डू यू थिंक दैट इंडस्ट्री शुड कम फॉरवर्ड एंड जॉइन हैंड्स विद गवर्नमेंट to make this happen, that every plant have a flow meter or water monitoring meter which is completely based on new technologies? Your thoughts on that, Mr.
जी सर बिल्कुल सर, फ्लो मीटर और जो बताया उन्होंने कृष्ण बाबू ने, वैसा होना चाहिए सर, लगना चाहिए और काम होना चाहिए। हम लोग उसको पूरा सपोर्ट करने को तैयार है और पूरा हम लोग उसको मॉनिटरिंग करने को तैयार है, उसको समय देने को तैयार है।
राइट। तो मुझे लगता है हम जय जी से और भी बात करेंगे, अगले 45 मिनट्स 50 मिनट्स में हम और भी बात करेंगे।
Sure.
Yeah. So,
I just want, are you joined in that JETUP, that is the Jajmao effluent treatment plant का एक कमेटी बना है ना, जहाँ पे DM is the chairman. You are all part of that, I believe.
सर आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हैं सर?
हाँ,
आपसे पूछा जाए
जी सर, मैं यही चाहता हूँ सर, एक डीएम चेयरमैन हमारे हो और एक पूरे शहर को भी छोड़ दीजिए, तो पूरा जो पॉल्यूटेड है, बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कतें हैं, मॉनिटरिंग हो नहीं पा रही है, काम हो नहीं पा रहा, गवर्नमेंट का सिर्फ डंडा चल रहा। हम तो चाहते हैं सर एक मॉडल बना दे, एक एरिया 2-4-5 किलोमीटर का एरिया हमारा एरिया हो और हम लोग को वो डेलीगेट करते, हम लोग को इन्वॉल्व कर ले, हम लोग सर उसको डेवलप कर सकते हैं सर, और बहुत अच्छे से डेवलप कर सकते हैं, फ्रेंडली डेवलप कर सकते हैं सर, क्योंकि गवर्नमेंट से फैक्ट्री वाला डरता है सर, गवर्नमेंट का एटीट्यूड दूसरा होता है और फ्रेंडली एटीट्यूड दूसरा होता है सर।
पर देखो, क्योंकि पिछले कई सालों से आपसे बात करते रहे, कुछ हुआ नहीं, फिर मेरे को याद है लास्ट ईयर जब प्रधानमंत्री का मीटिंग हो रहे थे तभी शीशमाऊ नाला बंद किया था। शीशमाऊ नाला में 14 करोड़ लीटर रोज पानी आता था गंगा में
सर।
एसटीपी हम बनाए थे, इसमें उसका आधा इस्तेमाल हुआ, कहीं पे 10 साल के लिए बिजली कनेक्शन भी नहीं थी। जो बनियापुर एसटीपी में 10 साल से कनेक्शन भी नहीं था, बना के रखा, छोड़ के गया था, पर पानी नहीं आ रहा। इसलिए मैं पूछ रहा था कि वेदर एसटीपी जो कैपेसिटीज बता रहे हैं कि उसका यूसेज होता है कि नहीं, वो पहली बात है। दूसरे मैंने देखा कि जहाँ पे आपका जो गंगा बेसिन में भी बहुत सारे इंडस्ट्रीज, कॉटेज इंडस्ट्रीज टैनरी में ट्रीटमेंट एसटीपी के लाइन के बाहर गंगा के किनारे में पानी, गंगा में गंदा पानी जाते रहता है। Somebody has to take initiative to stop this water flowing into Ganga.
सर हर जगह कुछ कल्पिट होते हैं सर, वो आप भी समझते हैं सर, वो जिनको
इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट्स, आप ये यूनिट्स बनाया था, ये सीईटीपी के लिए पैसा क्यों नहीं देते आप इसमें? why are you not taking active interest in that, getting that CETP functional? जाजमो में नमामि गंगे की तरफ से आपने बहुत पैसे दे दिया उसको।
जी सर। तो हम तो सर अब जब आपने इंडस्ट्री के बारे में पूछा, आपने उधर टेनरीज की बात की, मैं इधर इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहा हूँ, जो आपके इंडस्ट्री जहाँ पर अम्ब्रेला इंडस्ट्रीज है, तो उसको डेवलप करें सर, उसको एक बार ध्यान दें। तो सर
आप कानपुर में, the issue in Kanpur is actually it's not about the quantity of water. मैं पहले ही बोला था ना, the Kanpur is not on quantity of water, but it's on quality of water. तो हमारा सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम वहां पे ज्यादातर क्वालिटी ऑफ वाटर में था, बिकॉज आपके पानी का कोई समस्या नहीं, पानी जो एरिया में पानी का समस्या है, that is where the ग्राउंड वाटर एक्ट ज्यादातर पिंच करते हैं, because the extraction was stopped because of this act. Anyway, we'll talk on it later because I am also concerned about the quality of water also. बाद में बात करेंगे इसमें, but I request all of you to join in the Catch the Rain campaign. अभी आप मैंने लिखा दिया अपने वेबसाइट के नाम nwm.gov.in, नेशनल वाटर मिशन, याद रखना आसान है, NWM नेशनल वाटर मिशन, इसका शॉर्ट फॉर्म है। .gov.in, सरकारी वेबसाइट तो gov.in नहीं होता है, nwm.gov.in में जाएंगे तो आपको कैच द रेन कैंपेन का जो मुहिम हम चला रहे हैं उसके बारे में बहुत सारे डिटेल्स मिलेंगे. My target is that by this time we should be able to make, next in another 2 years we should make a tanker मुक्त भारत. वाटर टैंकर नहीं होना चाहिए सब जगह पे. We should get रेन वाटर. हमारा रेन वाटर इतना आ रहा है, we are only using 5-10% of it. बाकी सब रह के गंगा में जा रहा है कि नहीं तो नदी में जा रहा है. आज गंगा में जा रहे ठीक है, बट देन इट कम्स इन वेरी शॉर्ट टाइम. अगर हम उसको स्टोर करके आहिस्ता गंगा में निकाल देंगे तो वाटर विल बी फ्लोइंग कंटिन्यूअस इन रिवर. वो भी नहीं होता है. ये जब बारिश होती है छका कर जब वाटर गोस टू द फील्ड, फ्लड होकर तबाही बना के चला जाता है. फिर 5 साल के बाद देयर इज अ शॉर्टेज ऑफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर. That's what we should now make a campaign to make the water stored in wherever it is falling. इसलिए बोले जहां गिरे जहां बरसे वहीं you have to store it. Then probably we can have achieve a great aspect in storing water and reduce the water dependence on groundwater, etc. Okay, go ahead.
Right. That was right by Mr. G. Ashok Kumar and Jay Himrajani, Chairman, Indian Industry Association, Kanpur chapter. He talked about some problems, and G. Ashok Kumar has also raised some problems. But I think overall, the crux of the discussion has been that how to make everybody aware that what is the importance of using this water effectively, be it groundwater, be it rainwater, and how more and more technologies can be leveraged more. Both industry and government should come together. And it's not only about government and industry coming together. It's all about we all are coming together and making it happen. I think when we all decide that we'll make the effective usage of water a success, a mission mode, when civil society as a whole, industry, government, startups all come together, I think then we'll make this campaign a success, be it Kazrain campaign, be it effective usage of groundwater management. We had almost covered all the perspectives from this webinar, the first of the 3-part webinar series on new groundwater guidelines, government and industry perspective, challenges and way forward. But let me come to Vinay. Let me first congratulate Vinay for being awarded as the water hero recently by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Vinay Krishnam is leveraging technologies, advanced technologies like IoT, ML and AI-based solution for efficient usage of groundwater, especially for industries. The guidelines say that industry shall have to reduce water usage by 20% in next 3 years. Guidelines means I'm referring to the new guidelines by Central Groundwater Authority. And it can only happen through water auditing. Do you think that this is practically possible, and what kind of technologies are available for industry to achieve this goal? I think this will be very important for Jayji and also for other industry members, that when we are talking about technology, what kind of technology can be used and how this technology can be beneficial for industries to make that groundwater usage effective. So over to you, Vinay. Can you give us a short presentation and enlighten all of us about your solution? Because I think you guys are focusing mostly reducing 20% of groundwater extraction without changing the infrastructure much. So over to you, Vinay Chattaraju, co-founder, Krishnam Technologies.
Yeah, thanks, Shovik. Like other esteemed panelists have mentioned, so we can see the challenges and the questions from both the sides of the government and the industry. Like everybody has agreed here, so now it's not about, so who is responsible? It's about, so how do we get this done? How do we increase the water usage efficiency of the groundwater or the surface water? So commonly when we talk about, so increasing the efficiency, so people have this misconception that, so no, we need to change our whole processes, so we need to change about the new technologies. So people are often, from the industry side, so we have seen the people are a little skeptical about the new technology is like a very costly technology. It's like, so we need to change our whole infrastructure. But what we have done in our experience of working with various industries and, so even in the, the government departments like agriculture, irrigation, etc., primarily by just monitoring the water resources, so how much water is coming from, where it is coming, where it is going, just by having the numbers in place, we can fairly reduce the water consumption. So for the industries also, in our we have worked with quite a few industries in and around Kanpur. Like, so for example, we have been working with Solidaridad, an NGO which is based out of Netherlands, but having its good presence in so India, in Kanpur, working with the tanneries. So we are working on seeing how do we reduce the water consumption of tanneries, like, so with a very minimal investments, or so with very minimal work from their side. So one such technology we have come forward is the continuous internal water auditing for industries. So though the guidelines say that, when we talk about the auditing is about how one is on the official auditing, one is about the internal auditing. We recommend industries to have some level of internal processes in place for a more disciplined usage of water. What do we mean by the disciplined usage of water? So it's about if we take an example, so an industry which is using 100,000 liters of water per day. So out of this 100,000 liters, so 10,000 goes in process 1, 20,000 goes in process 2, 30,000 goes in process 3, and another 40,000 goes in process 4. So the problem where we observed that the industries were facing is they do not have the information readily available to see मेरे को पानी कितना लिया है, कितना कहाँ पे गया है. If I know this process is supposed to take some.
I hope you have to change slides as well.
Yes,
yeah. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
Yeah. So we were the industries were looking at so how much water has to be. Industries do not have any information on how much water actually they are using, because there are not many technologies which have been implemented by the industries. So if we talk about why do we have to do this continuous internal water auditing, so we have come from our observations that so by doing this internal water auditing, industries have a potential to reduce up to 20% of the water extraction in 2 to 3 years. This was also as part of this Central Groundwater Authority Act regulations it was mentioned. Second, on the pricing. So now the common question which the industries would ask is like, so okay, so if I invest some, let's say some X lakhs in doing this water auditing system, when am I going to get the return on investment? Yes, the people often say that so price water is cheap, like so in the act also, if you look at so the pricing is, let's say, 1 rupee per 1 kiloliter. Okay, so it's like if an industry is using 100 kiloliters, it's just 100 rupees per day, which is very low. But the actual cost of water associated is much higher than just paying for the water extraction. The primary costs occur in the pumping, storage, treatment, and also the product uniformity. If we don't use the water in the process as per how much is exactly required, there is a difference in the product qualities, like we have seen in the tanneries, etc. So it is important to track the inefficiencies of water use and improve organically. So if we are looking to reduce the water consumption, we are not talking about so reducing the 20% or so overnight. We are talking about how do we reduce this over a period of 2 to 3 years. So we need to adopt some small changes on a day-to-day basis, so that so we will eventually achieve the reduction of 20% of the water in the next 2 to 3 years. There have been a lot of international standards also coming. So like a recent standard is ISO 46001. All the multinationals, since again the primary most of the industries in India export outside. Okay, so where they export to the multinationals, so the so MNC companies outside. As a part of sustainability, even the big brands like so in fact the Nike, Adidas, and so few international brands have recently come up with this oath of going sustainable in the next 5 to 10 years. As part of that, they are trying to have their whole value chain aligned with them. It is not that, but if a Nike has to say that, okay, I will be sustainable, but if they are procuring goods from a company which is not a sustainable company, so this is not going to run. So this ISO 46001 standard has been released recently. So where all the multinationals are asking the value chain providers to go for the standard, do this. And so prepare for more upcoming regulations, because, so as and when the water, as we have seen this, so NGT is also coming up with very stringent norms to ensure that the groundwater is very sustainably used. So how do we do this? How is the continuous internal water auditing happen? The very first and foremost thing in this is basically the digitization of the pipeline network from the source till the eject. Okay, so if we have to measure how the water is flowing, we have to know what is their path. So a person is going from point A to point B. We have to change. if a person is going from water is going from a point A to point B, so we need to know how how is the water flowing there. So like if you can see from the source of submersible pump to the final output, so we need to digitize the whole pipeline in a digital form. So then we will understand, so what is my network structure is there. Second, so identify the different processes from the freshwater and the wastewater output. So once we have this pipeline network, so we need to have, again, in a digitally, we need to map, okay, so this, there is a process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number of processes based on the industry side. Okay, so which process is actually the water consumption? We have also observed in quite a few industries that, so a lot of water is going into the domestic purpose, so especially for the washing hands. And even after the COVID, because of the COVID, so the water usage for the domestic purpose has also increased very significantly. So the classification of the process is the next step in the part of this continuous internal water auditing. And the third one is the benchmarking the average water requirements per process. So as part of their process, every process will have a benchmarked usage, so given by the process expert or given by the so equipment manufacturer, saying that suppose if I have to produce let's say 1 ton of a tannery, of one ton of leather, how much water has to be added in a proportional way. So quite often, because people use the water in a more so estimated way, the quality of the output differ from batch to batch. So it is recommended to have a benchmark for each process. Some ABC process will use 30,000 liters per day. XYZ process is used 20,000 liters per day. So we need to define a benchmark for each process after the digitization of the pipeline is there. And we have a provision, so we will have to do the analyze the water quality from the output. Again, we have observed from our experience that so people, so in some of the processes we are more polluting, and some of the processes are less polluting, but eventually all the water is collected in a common place, and then so the equal cost is actually being going to treat the water in a collective way. So if we have a provision to measure the output water quality from each processes, so that so we can have a different treatment process for each output. This way we can reduce the cost of the treated, so where a highly polluted water can be given high-end technologies, a low pollution water can be used in so maybe shorter technologies, or maybe the chances of reusing of the water from one process but not from other process. So this is another step. Then what we recommend is so once we have the process classified, so we would have to install meters in the pipeline, as well as so if there is a storage tank, we need to have a level indicators on how the water is flowing into these places. So this is, again, this should not be a manual process. So we have seen, again, in many of the industries, they do install the meters, but when we looked at so the meters have been installed probably 2 to 3 years back, but are not, the data from the meters are not used. The data is the gold mine. So everywhere, if you can see, so how the big companies so Google, Facebook are leveraging the data for their benefit. So the industries also have the provision to leverage the data from the processes for a better improving of their water efficiency. So we need to install the meters at the specific locations with the telemetry to capture the data in a very continuously. We need not do the action every day, but so once the data is collected continuously, so it will be stored in your base. So whenever, however the analysis or whatever the analysis we want to do, we will at least have some base to talk about. So now we are all talking in this platform saying that so there are these problems, these are these problems, but how do we quantify the problem to solve it? This is the whole purpose of so measuring the process and collection of the data. So very critical step in this is collection of this. So we in our process use ultrasonic flow meters and the ultrasonic water level instruments to continuously monitor the water distribution along the water cycle in the water distribution line. And so as we have the data in place, so so the instruments are continuously monitoring the data, capturing the data, and storing the data in your database. So now what we have to do is, so we have to do the live water budgeting. So we have benchmarked a process, so this process is supposed to use, let's say, some 20,000 liters every day, but our meter is giving, let's say, 25,000 or 30,000 liters every day. So we need to compare that, saying that, okay, so this is supposed to use 20,000, but why did we use 25,000? Okay, so this is more like a diagnosis. If you go to a doctor will first not give a solution directly, but will say the diagnosis. Okay, so you have so and so symptoms, but these are the probable mistakes in which you're doing. It could be possible that the benchmarking itself was wrong, but quite often, because of the lack of exact data, so the information, the usage is increasing from 20,000 to 25,000. So we feel that so after seeing many industries implementing flow meters but not going with the telemetry system for the digitally capturing the data, we felt we need to have this data accessible at the fingertips. Okay, again, some of the old generation technologies like SCADA systems, which are implemented in the industries which you have seen, but they have a data center, so they have a team which is working on it. The information is not available to the top management at the fingertips. So we have integrated our data in the form of so in SMS, email, and even the WhatsApp. Okay, so where every industry owner, general manager, or the so plant head will get a SMS WhatsApp message every day in the morning on their daily consumption report. So every day they just open a WhatsApp and then say, okay, so today my water consumption is yesterday I have extracted 1 lakh liters, out of which this is my water consumption. So if we constantly bombard the information, the user with the data, so saying that, okay, this is how much it is supposed to be, but this is how much you have taken. This is where the change happens. So we are not talking about rocket science technologies building here. We are primarily targeting the change management. So water reduction primarily starts with the change management on measuring the information and then communicating it to the appropriate audience at the appropriate time. So these are some of the following. These are some of the reports which we do is total pump working hours. As we have discussed before, the cost, one of the primary costs is related to the pumping cost. So we have seen in many industries that the submersible pumps, or the other pumps which are used for the pumping, because of lack of repair, or because of so the low efficiencies. Initially, when they started, so the same water used to be pumped in, let's say, 3 hours, but now it is being pumped for 5 hours. The almost 2 hours increase in difference, so is not being captured by them. So, but if we have a historical data, so when the pump was installed on day 0, so it is giving, let's say 100,000 liters in 5 hours. But after 1 year, how much is the running time proportional to this? So what can we do? How this is more like a preventive maintenance for our systems in place if we calculate the working hours of the pumps. And so we can identify the process inefficiencies, identify the pump wear outs, identify the leakages in the industries, trends of water footprint, how much so a lot of multinational companies are willing to disclose their data publicly. So so they wanted to publish this data in a public platform, so to show their commitment towards sustainability. So we can have a water demand forecast. So since most of the industries are working on the groundwater, but as the groundwaters are being depleted, so how do they have to plan for their future? So like Dr. Ashok Kumar was saying, so we need to work on this tanker free in the next 2 years, but so how do we even plan for it? So is only when we have the data is what we'll be looking at, and the real time alerts and notifications. So we have we strongly believe that so having the data most available in their fingertips, like so in the SMS, WhatsApp, or so just a daily report email, will help the industries in rightly managing their water resources for so that so they move towards the sustainability. And even the electricity bill forecast. So we since we know how much is the working hours of each process, if we can with some empirical formulas, we can also estimate what could be the possible electricity bill for that month for this particular time for the specific industry. So like you can see, so this is a WhatsApp, automated WhatsApp group. So where so you can just get a daily alert in the form of an image or PDF. So just at your fingertips. We have a dashboard, so in which you can log in anytime and see, so what are your trends. And we have, so this is a completely advanced web API based system. If you have an existing dashboard, so if you have an existing softwares, we can also get it integrated with them. So if you have an ERP, if you have an SAP system, we can integrate this with the billing systems, so or any kind of integration is possible. So this is our product. So one of the prime so instrument which is used for measuring the water is this pipe flow meter, ultrasonic transit time based. This is a full bore meter without any moving parts. So this is, we have a battery and mains operated version, but mostly it is recommended to use for the battery operated meter because of power fluctuations. So we have seen many industries faced problems in the past of so instrument failure. So our instrument can work on 5 years on battery with inbuilt GPRS 3G 4G communication system. So this is a very next generation product we have built here in IIT Kanpur with the association of Professor Shivam Tripathi. So we strongly feel that more and more number of instruments are required on the field to capture the data. We have made this very cost effective for all our to keep it so effective for the industries which are already under deep financial stress because of the COVID. So this is so compared to any of the international brands which are again so not built for the Indian scenario, we have made it extremely cost effective. Thank you. So here we are. So we are trying to empower the nations with the data-driven water management solutions. So I'm available to. So if anybody want to reach out, so you can reach me out on this number and this email ID. Thank you.
Thanks, Vinay. I think when Mr. Upadhyay was giving his speech, he talked about embracing newer technologies for making an impact. And the presentation which you have given, I must say that. Eminent speakers and eminent decision makers like Mr. Upadhyay or Mr. J.M. Rajani or G. Ashok Kumar, they will impress with the solution you're providing and kind of data technology you're using. You talked about internal water auditing. That is the crux of your presentation, how you're making an impact. That is digitizing pipeline network, live water budgeting. You talked about that. And you're also ensuring that data is accessible at fingertips and how you're using the newest technologies. So I'll come to Mr. Upadhyay. Mr. Upadhyay, you talked about embracing newer technologies. I've just seen the presentation by Vinay Krishna. How do you think, or what's your perspective on that? How this kind of solutions or this kind of technology innovation actually can make a difference, maybe 2 years down the line or 5 years down the line for India's groundwater management ecosystem? Your thoughts on that, Mr. Upadhyay?
Of course. One thing which is much important is that we must have data. What the industries are using, because we are imposing pricing is there. So if an amount of recharging, both are there. On that basis, they can extract their, because we are also fixing the quantum of water they are going to extract. For there, this metering is very important. 1, 2, 3 things I have already suggested previously to Mr. Kristen technology representative. One thing is that it should not be based on the electric supply. It must be based on your battery operated, because if there is any sort of supply, the whole system is not going to give any information. There may be some reason of what you can malfunctioning as well, the person can do. Tamper proof is one of the most important aspects of this. This firm has to ensure that your instrument is anyhow it is very tamper proof. If anyone is going to tamper it, it has to give the alert. So these two things are very. And one more thing, the amount of water they are going to measure on it, how they are how much it is accurate. These 3 things are most important for this. So I have already said, so I have also said previously that these technology, advanced technologies are very important for this groundwater regulation, because until or unless we have data, we cannot regulate on this aspect as well. No? So, one more thing I would like to say, there is a one more we see at 11:30 with the Central Groundwater Authority as well. So, with thanks and with my blessing to this workshop, I would like to leave this with the permission of this host as well. Okay.
Sure, Mr. Upadhyay, and thanks for joining us, and most importantly, sharing with us your thoughts, which will be very useful for all of us. Not about all of us who are speaking in this webinar, but almost 300 to 350 plus live attendees who were part of this webinar, who are watching this, and also people watching in Facebook and YouTube. And the most important part that you have coming from UP Groundwater Department, you emphasize on the importance of technology. And when Vinay was giving a presentation, it was all about technology, how it's making a difference. It's like battery operated meters. This is a very important part which their solutions are providing. Because you talked about tamper proof meters. So I think again that convergence is happening, and that's how best of the minds can come together in this kind of knowledge sharing platform to ensure that impact is happening, action is being taken upon. Thanks, Mr. Upadhyay. I know you have to rush for another meeting, but thanks so much for joining us for this webinar. I'll come to Mr. Jay Hemrajani.
And I also assure you that I am also available, very much available to all of you. Due to some meetings and some important meetings, may not be available. Otherwise, I am available every time for all of you.
Sure. I think because to take the discussion forward, some more meetings will be needed. I am sure you will be there to guide young minds like Vinay for their innovative solution to make a difference in the groundwater management ecosystem. With this, if I may ask Sri G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Mr. Jal Shakti Government of India. I think G. Ashok Kumar Ji is with us.
Yes.
Right. G. Ashok Kumar, sir, you have seen the presentation by Vinay, Crystem Technologies, kind of innovative technology they're using. Your take on that this presentation?
No, actually, see, very important, because what is measured and can only be monitored. Very simple solution, because I had been a laboratory of measuring all water flow just to keep the data. You may not charge it, we may not, the apprehension is there that they may charge and all this, but then to have the knowledge of how much water is being used, we should meter it. That is very essential. And I would suggest that there should be no intervention, human intervention anywhere at all in the process. It should be an automatic reader which transmits the data, because I remember I was setting the water board in Hyderabad, and the meter readers used to be the most important person in my department, because whatever meter reading they write, it's the money that the people pay. So when we transferred them after 33 years, can you believe it? Some of the people used to stay there in one location for 33 years. When we transferred them, there was a hue and cry, because everything was set up for him very nicely. And when we changed the meter readers, the bill of certain consumers rose from some industry, particularly commercial consumers, used from some 40,000 to 4 lakh per month. Because this is the nexus they had. So one very important thing, Upadhyay, you should ensure that there should be no human intervention in the data transmission. It should be an automatic meter reader and transmitted to a location. That should be the possibility.
That should be tamper proof as well, sir.
Tamper proof as well, yes, sir.
Sir, with the permission.
Okay, please go ahead. I'm also leaving for. Thank you. But I'll say, I'll request you to join in our Catch the Rain campaign, because it should be available with the district myself. So I'll send it to you also, because it is very essential that we prepare the ground natural vessels ready and keep it ready to catch the rain. Okay, thank you.
Okay, namaskar, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Upadhyay. Thanks, Sri G. Ashok Kumar, for joining us. I can see plethora of questions coming to us right now. Many questions for this webinar. I'll move to question, but before that, I'd like to come to Mr. Jay Hemrajani. Jayji, you just seen the presentation by Vinay. You talked about that how a company like Crystem can collaborate with the industry association like yours. You just see the presentation. अभी आपने वो presentation देखा. आपको क्या लगता है कि कैसे ये आपके जो इंडस्ट्रीज है कानपुर में उनमें एक बदलाव ला सकता है, सोच में भी और काम में भी?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर, मैंने तो पहले ही कहा, मैं विनय से बात में लगा कि काम के आदमी है, ये तो हमारी इंडस्ट्री के लिए बहुत यूजफुल है और मैं इनसे टच में रहूंगा, इनसे सारी टेक्नोलॉजी और इनको बुलाऊंगा भी कानपुर में, इन्वाइट भी करूंगा और कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज को उनको दिखाऊंगा, क्योंकि काम करते रहे हैं, कुछ हमें जानकारी देंगे, इसके साथ मिलकर मैं काम करूंगा सर विनय जी के साथ.
Right. Thanks, Mr. Jay Hemrajani, for showing your intention to work with technology solution providers and also work with government to make a difference. We have got a lot of questions. Maybe if I can ask one question to Vinay. I can see one question because a lot of questions we cannot raise all the questions. Maybe one or two questions and then we wrap the webinar. But there's a question by Mr. Amit Kumar Mittal. What should be the periodicity of water auditing? Does water auditing include, let me just check, I think the,
I guess I get the question, so because
I think he's asking about the periodicity of the water auditing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's a very good question, Shobhik. So when we talk about water auditing, so we typically think of so if like try to compare it with our accounts, so we do the auditing of our accounts once in a year. But if we don't have our internal data in place, it will be a mess once in a year, and the data will be, we cannot do it once in a year. So what we recommend is having something like a continuous internal water audit, so water audit, water data, data collection, whatever people call it, since it's a new concept, people use the words very different way. So from our side, we recommend something having a collection of the data should happen very continuously. Okay, so not a single data point should be missed, because the water consumption in the industries vary on a day-to-day basis, seasonally, weekly, monthly, based on some businesses are seasonal business. So if we do the auditing based on the data which is captured only once in a year, we will not be having enough information to do the water saving. We will certainly have some outputs, but it is not a foolproof solution to for the water reduction. So from my perspective, it is like, we need to have a very continuous water auditing system, so that maybe once in a year you do the analysis and the comparison, so how the trends over the year have been, but the system should be in place all the time is what my recommendation would be.
Taking cue from what you have just now said, I think I can see one more question, almost identical, that someone has said that based on the periodic monitoring of the water quality in particular stretch, the companies can be provided clearance to groundwater extraction. I think that's also sounds good, Vinay.
Yeah, so like Ashok sir was also mentioning, so even though so not always the measurement is for so imposing some rules and regulations, it is more for the information and the right policy making. So even for the regulators also, if they do have the access of this data, so so it is very much important. It will be very helpful in defining the process. Like for example, power sector is one of the most so technologically advanced sector in India. So they have the guidelines saying that to produce 1 unit of power, initially it was 3.5 liters, and now they have reduced to 2 or 2.5 something is there. Okay. Similarly, we need to have a benchmarking for each product. To produce 1 kg of oil, how much? What is the ideal usage of water? So to produce, let's say, so 1 kg of paper, how much water? Ideally, amount of water is required. So this is possible only when the regulators also have the access to the data. So we recommend so even for the regulators also to have the data. You may not charge anything, you may not penalize anything, you may not do anything, but so having the data is the very first step towards any kind of technology driven policy making or technology driven water saving for the industries is what my perspective is. Sure.
Vinay, और एक क्वेश्चन मैं देख रहा था Q&A सेक्शन में by Mr. Pinaki Dasgupta. His take is that सिर्फ टेक्नोलॉजी, वाटर मीटरिंग टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करने के अलावा भी और कुछ भी करना चाहिए इंडस्ट्री को. आई थिंक इफ जयराज जी कैन आंसर ऑन दैट. जयराज जी, आपको क्या लगता है कि जो प्लांट्स है उसमें पानी का तो ग्राउंड वाटर को और भी इफेक्टिवली यूज करने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजिकल सॉल्यूशंस यूज करना ही है, उसके साथ आपको क्या लगता है और क्या क्या होना चाहिए सरकार की तरफ से? आपको आप क्या उम्मीद करते हैं, या a company like Krishnam, what more they can offer to you when you're talking about using groundwater effectively in these plants?
Mute.
Jayji, if you can unmute your mic.
सर ये जो मैं जो जिस इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहा हूँ ये 7-8 किलोमीटर के रेडियस में यहाँ पर डेवलप है, और इनको सर गवर्नमेंट को, हमारे प्रशासन को एक ETP यहाँ बनाने चाहिए सर, छोटे से, वो हमसे मिलके बनाए या खुद बनाए या हम लोग चलाने दे दें। वो सर पानी का सर्कुलेशन इधर ही होना चाहिए 7-8-10 किलोमीटर रेडियस के अंदर। इन्होंने सर जैसे अभी अशोक सर ने बताया कि मैंने वहां बनाया, इन्होंने जो गंगा बैराज के लिए, सर उन्होंने क्या बनाया, कैसे बनाया, पानी कहाँ जा रहा है, 10-20 किलोमीटर पानी जा रहा है, बीच ब्रेक हो जाता है, कुछ न्यूसेंस वैल्यूज आ जाती है उसके अंदर। ये तो गवर्नमेंट का काम सर देखना है, अपना काम तो है, हमारा इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलप होना चाहिए, हम उस भागीदार बन सके सर।
Right. I think I've taken a question from the Q&A section, and also Vinay, you can talk about this. Is there any groundwater abstraction charge for projects which haven't started abstraction before the final LC? Can you shed some light on this?
I'm not very sure. We can. There is a Gazette notification which has very clearly defined what are the abstraction charges, and So
I think we have already shared that notification with our registered delegates. We can again share that they can go through it. Yeah. So before we wrap this webinar, let me thank all of you for joining us today, and I can see a lot of questions are coming. I can see. Let us do one thing. We can share this question with Vinay and all the speakers, and they can reply to all of them. And because of time paucity, we can't take all the questions right now. But it's quite good that we have got more than 500 plus registration, almost 600 plus registration, and almost 300 plus delegates have joined us live for last almost 2 hours, and they have raised their concerns, raised their questions. And end of the day, the aim of this conducting this webinar was completely on new groundwater guidelines, government and industry perspective, challenges and way forward, because we have realized that this is a need of the hour, because not everybody within the industry is clear about the new guidelines, not everybody in government is clear about what to do, because many state governments have their own policies, central act is there, state act is there, but I'm sure that the deliberations made in today's webinar for last 2 hours has been of utmost importance. It's learning for all of us, enlightening thoughts from policymaker from Government of India, G. Ashok Kumar, Additional Secretary and Mission Director, National Water Mission, Minister of Jal Shakti, Government of India. Alok Tiwari, District Magistrate, Kanpur, also joined us. Mr. V.K. Upadhyay, Director, UP Groundwater Department, has also joined us, and also Mr. Jayhem Rajani, Chairman, Indian Industry Association, Kanpur Chapter, who has already said that he will be ready with open arms to collaborate with a company like Krishnam Technologies or anybody who is trying to make a difference in this groundwater management ecosystem. And thanks a lot to Vinay Chattaraju, co-founder of Krishnam Technologies, for joining us today and sharing your presentation that how you are trying to make a difference by using new age technologies like AI, IoT, ML, and all those things for water metering, and how it can be beneficial for industry to use this, and that can actually make a difference for build a comprehensive groundwater management ecosystem for the future. With this, we say goodbye to all of you, but do join us for the next edition of this 3-part webinar series on new groundwater guidelines, government and industry perspective, challenges and way forward, in which we'll again cover some of the parts of the Uttar Pradesh district magistrates, municipal commissioners, industry associations, all will be there along with Krishnam Technology. We will do the second edition in the end of this month. Do join us for the next session. We'll keep you posted about the next edition as and when it happens. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye, take care, and let us all pledge together that we'll make a difference in the groundwater management ecosystem. Thank you so much.
Okay, namaskar.
Thank you, everyone.